Hey guys, it's your boy Mixtape Banks coming back at it again this week with another video. This time we're talking about Tom Thibodeau and how he plans on coaching the New York Knicks. He's recently done some pressers in regards to the practices that the Knicks have been running, and he's dropped a lot of gems, especially in that first presser. I think this first video here is going to be only on that first presser because I think there was a lot of information that he gave in regards to how he plans on running the team, how he views things, and what's going to be his approach in regards to this season. We may do a couple follow-up video addressing the next two pressers that he did. Bless up. First and foremost, guys, if you want to see these videos, these pressers the Knicks have released, you need to go on the New York Knicks YouTube channel. On their channel, you can find all the pressers that I'm talking about, and make sure if you go watch those videos, you run up in the comments, you tell them Mixtape Banks sent you. But today, we're talking about this day one presser, all right, and only the day one presser. So Steve Popper, right off the bat, he asked, what do you hope to get done? So Thibs says, the first part is building our foundation and getting to know the guys. All right, that's pretty much to be expected. All right, this is a team that nobody on this team has really been on this team for that long. There's not really much of a foundation for him to build off of already. You know, Mike Miller did a decent job trying to establish some defensive keys and just really attacking the paint. So I think if there's any foundation to build off of, I guess that's what Thibs would build off of. But this is important because you're going to see that Thibs is mostly going to talk about building the foundation, building up the players' fundamentals. And if you know Thibs, if you've seen my first video when the Knicks first hired Thibs, you'll know that Thibs is very keen on a couple major things in both offense and defense. But if we move on, Berman had asked Thibs about Knox, and Thibs basically just said, we're building the foundation of an offensive system and a defensive system overall for the team and for each player. And we know that Knox, you know, we've liked what we've seen from Knox. All right, so he likes what he's seen from Knox. He could just be saying that, or he could actually like what he sees from Knox. I wouldn't be surprised. I think the potential has always been there for Knox, and we've seen it in bursts. But maybe Thibs and all of our developmental guys really bring it home for Knox and just get him right back on that right path. You know, players go through sophomore slump. So when he was asked about the team identity, and we all know there is expectation that any team that is coached by Thibs by default is going to be Chicago Bulls imitation. I don't think that's necessarily the case, because even in Chicago, each year he kind of had a different team, and although Thibs has his own specific demands that he wants of his players, overall he does adapt things very much, especially considering when you look at the different teams that he's had to play with. All right, so he says a big part of that will be who the personnel is. We'll play to our strengths and cover up our weaknesses. The foundation will be the defense, the rebounding, low turnovers, sharing the ball. Right, offensively, he wants to get as many easy baskets as you can, try to get to the free throw line, and create as many corner threes as possible. Right? So he already let us know. Look, ultimately, what the nitty-gritty details are, we don't know that yet, because we don't know what the team looks like yet. We don't know who's there, what they're going to be good at, if they have quick feet, if they have slow feet, and how we'll have to cover up for that or not have to cover up for that, right? So he's saying, I'm not going to sit there and take some specific principle that I like. Like, I like players to switch all, but if I don't have a team that can switch all, that's just going to lead to losing basketball, right? So he's saying we got some keys. This is what we want, and how we get to what we want, we'll figure out once we have a steady roster. But we have who we have here now, and we're going to work on instilling what are the keys that we need them to do in order for us to be successful. He also goes on to say, whatever gets us to win on any given night is smart to me. All right. So to him, look, whatever we have to do to adjust to win the game, that's what matters most. Yes, he likes to run a lot of actions out of the triangle, a lot of horns. He likes to do a lot of, just like how the Warriors do now, he likes to run a lot of triangle-based schemes, all right? Which isn't bad. A lot of people hear triangle, they think back to Phil Jackson Knicks, and we're all traumatized. But the triangle is basically the foundation for a lot of offenses throughout the league now and, throughout and in the past. But he's saying, however we win this game, if we win this game by having to ride a hot hand, if we win this game by changing our offensive scheme, our defensive scheme, maybe he likes to crash the offensive glass, but this is not a good matchup for that, so we just run back on defense. Whatever it is, whatever it takes to get that win, that's what he thinks is smart. And that's what we want to hear as Knicks fans. We want to know that he's going to be adaptable. He can adjust, right? We already know that he is a disciplinarian type of coach. So he has that down pat, right? We already know coming into this guy is going to make sure he sees what he wants to see out of this team. And that's perfect. That's what we need. These young guys, they need to have consistency and to have some sort of expectations of them, because when you're operating without really knowing what it is that's wanted from you, it just leads to frustration. And you could look at the 76ers for that. Look at Brett Brown. So Thibs, basically throughout this whole thing, he said he has certain defensive principles that he believes in, but details like defensive rotations, switches, how to guard the pick and roll, are you going to ice it? Are you going to blitz it? Are you going to switch it? That all depends on the personnel, right? What we do this year may not be what we do next year, but the key foundations, that's what he wants to establish. He wants to establish what's the foundation for this team. Guys, rebound the ball, all right? If you're here next year, that's not going to change. You need to rebound the ball. Guys, pass the ball. If you're here next year, you're going to have to pass the ball. All right? Keys, simple keys in the offense. He was asked about RJ. He said pretty much what you would expect him to say. And I just think that you guys, if you watch these videos, be aware that he's aware that he's being recorded, right? He's aware, obviously, that this is a presser and he has to say the things that are the right things, but he's also the kind of guy that really says what he feels, right? So he's telling us, don't expect to hear some crazy key details and get disappointed if that's what you're watching the pressers for. But you can already hear, right, what's going to be the main keys, and you can make assumptions as to what players are going to do based off of what he's already said. All right, so we know defensively he wants to rebound, right? Rebounding, that's closing off the defensive play. He wants to limit turnovers, so he wants to just play smart basketball. He wants to move the ball. And like I said, if you watch my first video on Thibs, you'll see that every player that he's coached that has been a major key in his offense pretty much year after year has an increase in their assist ratio. He's always making, if you're going to be a key to the offense, you're going to be a key to the offense not just by scoring, but by also moving the ball. All right, and I think that's what he's going to try to do with RJ. He's going to try to have RJ penetrate, attack the paint, kick the ball out, which I think RJ is actually really good at. We've seen flashes of it. He had, you know, in his rookie season, a high of like 9 assists in a game. So we know RJ can do it. It's just, you know, can someone support him and believe in him and doing it? We also know that offensively, he wants to get easy buckets. He wants to get to the free throw line, and he wants to get corner threes. All right, so we can probably expect to see RJ slide down to that corner three, which is where RJ is actually pretty effective at. RJ actually shoots a good percentage from that corner three. I did a video on this, but he's ineffective from the top of the key. So he really just wants to take smart, efficient shots, which, you know, he doesn't want to force the offense. He's not going to try to put together an elaborate offensive scheme, and these players can't, you know, do that. He's not going to give them the Warriors playbook and we have no shooters, okay? He wants corner threes. He wants penetration. He wants players to get to the free throw line. Those are things RJ all does well. He hits that corner three. He knows how to get to the rim. And I know a lot of you guys don't think he's quick enough on his feet or he's not shifty, but he gets to the rim. I'm pretty sure he led all rookies in one of the percentages in regarding to drawing free throws when he attacks the paint. I mean, I think he was actually up there as far as just like players in the NBA in general. So we're gonna see, I think, RJ thrive under whatever Thibs is planning to do. And I'm gonna give you guys a sneak peek in the next video when I cover what Thibs says in the second and third pressers. Thibs might ultimately not want Randle to be traded. We don't know, and I'm just theorizing here, but I'll cover that in the next video. Peace, guys.